His hero, Chas, goes off and they walk to a victory against game one of the next Lone Star Series game against the Rangers. Let's talk about this on tonight's Locked On Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Beer leans back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen throughout the whole trade deadline. It's coming up, baby. This is going to be exciting. Keep tuned in to Locked On Astros and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, and go and subscribe to us on YouTube. We've already surpassed 8,000. Now we're going for 9,000. Let's keep it going. And guys, go ahead and check out Game Time. I know today was an exciting game. You got to watch the Astros with some late inning heroics versus the Rangers. But if you want to go to the game, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So this was one of those games that is great because you won, but if you didn't win this game, it was gonna be like one of these, oh, why did Dusty do this? Why did Dubon not do this? Or Belak sucks so bad in this game. There's so many different things that you could have blamed in this game, but Yainer Diaz with the walk-off hit, and then Chas McCormick with a heck of a day. I don't know what else you could say. This was Chaz's day, and Yainer Diaz was the one that walked it off.
Man, what a game, Eric. I mean, look, this game, the way it started out for both teams, it was like both pitchers were trying to give the other team the advantage. I mean, the Rangers scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings. They added another run in the 4th inning. They got 5 runs. Of course, the Astros had 4 at the time. Early on, I mean, this was like the longest first inning, I think, ever, it seemed like. Chas McCormick hits a ball that everybody thinks is a grand slam. MLB.com sends out that it's a grand slam. And then we find out, nope, it's a double. And so they scored those 4 runs. They went ahead, and then they lost the lead. But Josh Jung came into the game ready to hit. And the walks were really what was going to cause either team to sink or swim, and they were both sinking. I mean, these were ships that had holes in it the entire time. But Chas McCormick, as you mentioned, and we'll talk about him in the next segment, what a game he had, because the Rangers did not quit. The Rangers did not give up. And what I love about this game, Eric, is this game and the last game that they played, the last 2 games. I'm going to give you some of these stats. On July 3rd, the combined runs were 23. The combined hits were 25, 11 extra base hits between both teams, and 11 pitchers used, 3 hours and 4 minutes. That game ended Houston winning 12-11. Tonight's game, Houston wins 10-9, 19 combined hits, 19 combined runs, 5 extra base hits combined, and 11 pitchers used, 3 hours and 17 minutes. Now, if you would have told me that you could do a 3-hour baseball game back-to-back times when you meet a team and you can have like 30 to 40 plus runs, I'd say there's no way. Those are 5-hour games tops. So maybe the time clock and everything is helping us a little bit. But we won these games, Eric, and I think that's what we have to focus on. This is a team, even without Seager, even without Garcia, is powerful. And you wondered what counter would the Astros offer if the Rangers offense came swinging, and they met their match once again.
Definitely. And this is a game where a lot of people thought that Yordan Alvarez would return back to the lineup, and we'll have to talk about that a little bit later. But definitely, Dusty Baker said that this is the win of the year so far. This puts you within 2 games of the Texas Rangers, and this was a game that was just back and forth. And unfortunately, the Astros have had so many of these games recently where you had to basically out-hit the opponent, but the Astros did. And Chas McCormick, I know that there's a lot of trade rumors out there, and I know that he seems to be at the center of a lot of these trades. I really hope they don't trade him. I think he's becoming a big part of this offense. He's becoming a big part of this team if he wasn't already that big part. And I think that what you're seeing is just a birth of just Chas as an everyday player, Chas, the guy that can help you for years to come. And that's what Dana Brown has to decide. Can you go out there and get a player that could be better than Chas McCormick? And right now he's out there having fun, and he's excited. And you could just see it in his face after he hit that home run, and it's off of Aroldis Chapman. I'm on a golf trip in Colorado right now, and a couple of the people are from Kansas City. And I said, thank you for trading Aroldis Chapman to the Royals, and that way, to the
Rangers.
Yeah, just so we can go ahead and face them. And who knows, this could pay off dividends in the playoffs as well.
Seeing the look on his face, a familiar turn to the right, over the right shoulder to the right center field part of the field. I remember that so well when Altuve sends the Astros to the World Series. And right. I had made the comment. I actually put both the videos up on Twitter on my personal page. And I said, Aroldis Chapman loved pitching against the Astros so much that he changed uniforms into the division of the Astros. Can you imagine? Think about this, Eric. The ALDS or the ALCS between the Astros and the Rangers, and Chapman's up, and we walk it off of Chapman, and the Astros are going to the World Series off of Aroldis Chapman.
Again,
baseball gods, can we make that happen? That would be phenomenal. But look,
I love to see it. Yeah, let's do it.
There are a lot of good things in this game. There are also probably some things that I know some people are concerned about. Jeremy Pena is down to 232 right now, Eric.
Was he batting ninth the other day?
Yeah, and Myers is batting 222. But let's not get mired in the negative because Yainer Diaz gets up. Yainer Diaz didn't have a hit all game until he's up in the walk-off spot. And I will say this, Jose Abreu should have been on base. Jose Abreu should have walked. That should have been bases loaded when he got that, because that fifth pitch that they threw him that they called a strike was not even close to the zone. So, he got robbed there. But you had a couple guys. You had McCormick and Tucker on. You would have had Tucker, Abreu, and McCormick all on base. Diaz gets up, and I love the way he hit it. He didn't hit a power bomb. He didn't hit like tower power. He hit an opposite field slap single. And what does Kyle Tucker do? Shows off his speed. If Kyle Tucker continues to be clutch like this, the Astros are going to say, why didn't we sign him last year?
Right? I know you talked about it the other day. I didn't get a chance to do it, but that 3 home run game, man, it's just like Kyle Tucker is just turning on the cheat mode right now. And it's just like he's on a whole different level. And it's just, you love to see it. And so is Chas McCormick and Jake Myers in the outfield. That was a pretty bad little play. I know it didn't mean the Rangers were going to score those runs anyway. We'll talk about the bullpen in a little bit, that little bullpen implosion. But man, that was a kind of bad play there. But it just seems like sometimes it just like you get frustrated with this team because this team, you know what the caliber of this team is. And it's just like, you shouldn't be allowing. I know the Rangers are a great team and they're probably one of the best offensive teams in baseball, but still, how do you allow 9 runs? And it's frustrating at times to see the bullpen and Brandon Bielak. I'm not going to be too tough on him. He's actually had a great season up to this point, and it's hard to pick apart what he did today, but it's still frustrating just to see his. He's been doing so great, and unfortunately today just was not that great.
Well, so he didn't get the decision. He's still 2-1 in July. It's still his
Right.
best month. He's lowered his ERA every month. And I mean, it was the walks, Eric. It was the 4 walks and the 5 strikeouts. You can't have your strikeouts and walks equaling each other. Like if you have 5 strikeouts, you want 0 walks. You have 10 strikeouts, you want maybe 1 walk. But the Rangers and the Astros both, each pitching staff had 7 walks apiece. So the walks were something that hurt them. Things kind of got away from them a little bit, and it looked like the Rangers, maybe once they went up on top, maybe the Astros aren't going to scratch and claw back, but they did. Matan and Stanek. They had 3 walks between them. Phil had 2, Stanek had 1. All 3 of those runs that scored on Stanek's watch were credited to Matan. Abreu came in, looked good. Presley came in, looked sharp, and so he got the win. But that's what your bullpen has to do. If one guy struggles, another guy has got to pick up the slack, Eric. But dude, I mean, walk-off win, Yainer Diaz, Chas McCormick, 6 RBIs this game. Let's talk about that here in this next segment because I want to tell y'all about Game Time. Look, if you want to go to the game, I'm telling you, get the Game Time app, download it, use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Forget planning months in advance. The game is tomorrow, or if you're listening on Tuesday, the game is tonight. Go get the deals right up to the day of the event, right before the event happens. Flash deals for tickets on football, baseball, basketball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The Game Time Guaranteed means that you'll always get the best price if you find tickets in the same section and row for less. Game Time will credit you 110% the difference. Get images of your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone so you never have to dig through your email. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and simply go and purchase and use a promo code Locked On, and you'll get 20%. You get $20 off your first order. That's right, $20 off your first order at Game Time today. And don't forget that the Astros play the Rangers Tuesday night, 7:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with the Sirius XM on the SXM app. Search Astros. So, Eric, you were sitting here making a great case, and I just want to say this before I have you add to what you're already saying about Chas McCormick. You mentioned him. You mentioned the words everyday player. And there has been a name that we've talked about on here about Luis Robert Jr. The problem I have with bringing in a player like that is I don't really think that they realistically will go get him. And I think to go get someone, quote unquote, better than where Chas is right now, then you're going to have to spend to where it's going to hurt you longer and it's going to hurt more in the system rather than develop Chas. Look, if Leon or someone wants to come up and challenge him for the spot, Quincy Hamilton, Zach Daniels, whoever wants to come up and challenge later on, that's fine. But he's making a mark. He's consistent. He's producing. And that's great. So, I think he deserves to be the center fielder every day. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah, definitely. And I know that we saw Jake Myers kind of make a step forward earlier in the season, hitting wise. And I know he had a home run recently too, but it just seems like he's kind of regressing a little bit. I know Corey Julks has been fairly consistent as the type of player he is. So I think that if you're looking until you get another option, if that's Lou Bob, Lewis Robert or not. But I
Bob,
think,
I like it.
yeah, so I don't know what Dusty Baker needs. I think Chas McCormick is the guy in center field. If not, then you need to play him in left field, or he needs to be in the lineup every day just because I saw Yainer Diaz is batting 6 now, and he's moving up in order. So I think that we're seeing kind of line up a little bit more what we want. So it's just kind of giving the Astros a little bit more options, but you can't argue what Chas McCormick is doing recently. He's got his OPS all the way up to 902 right now. He's batting 282. He had a career high 6 RBIs today. It could have been more if maybe the ball was a little bit higher for a grand slam earlier in the game, but it just what he's doing, and he's excited. I haven't seen like a player as excited as I've seen him in a while, and he's playing with this passion. And it's just like, I think that's what the Astros have lacked at times this year.
Yeah.
Is that passion, like Alex Bregman and the dugout stare and just you should have walked me, all that stuff. And that's what I feel like is missing from this team this year. And if you look at what Chas McCormick is doing, he's doing the dances, he's doing the kind of staring at Julia Morales and doing that type of stuff. And I think we're trying to get that excitement going again.
Exactly. And you need, so when I say this, I'm not saying he's George Springer. Okay. But do you remember what kind of life George Springer was in the dugout and in the clubhouse? That's the same type of personality that Chas McCormick has become. And I don't think he's become that before this point because he hadn't really been given a chance. At this point, guys like Julks and Myers should not be starting over McCormick because of how hot he is. That's just all there is to it. And Yainer Diaz, insert him in as a catcher, and your catcher doesn't have to bat ninth. I mean, I guess maybe you keep him ninth because I guess if Maldonado comes in, you don't want him batting fifth or sixth or whatever. But at the end of the day, Diaz, look, I'm glad Diaz is having success as a DH because remember, his average is very different as a DH than when he plays a position. So I don't mind him getting that confidence, but I assume that Yordan will be back on Tuesday. We haven't heard anything official. But I want to move on to that because I don't want to just stick on this. Look, Chas, great game. Good job, Yainer. This is the Yainer Chas game. But Dusty Baker did say after the game that this was the game of the year for them to this point. But before the game, he was asked, why is Yordan Alvarez not in the lineup? And there are just sometimes Dusty says things, and I'm just going to say this. I don't get it. Okay. Maybe he's speaking on a level that I just can't get there. This is what he said. Hey, cue up the thoughts by Dusty.
Okay. Hold on. I wasn't ready.
Let's do that.
Thoughts by Dusty.
Dusty Baker said Alvarez is very close. He won't hit the field. He won't hit in the field today. Sugarland is off. So no rehab game. Yes, Dusty. They're in Vegas and he's not with the team. So it's a non sequitur point to say that Sugarland is off when they're already in Vegas and they're dressed like they're going to a casino. They had like a big dress up flight. And so there are things that when he says these things, they're just like, so when asked if Altuve will be activated about the rehab assignment, Baker said it's possible. Will he be activated without a rehab? He said it is possible, but they haven't discussed it with him yet. But to say what he did he should have just said, look, we don't think he's ready to play. He's going to play Tuesday. But don't say he's off because Sugarland's off. He's in the dugout.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me, man.
He also said pregame, he said, we're not sure if it's tomorrow or the next day. We've got to come out and test him some more and see if he's ready. And he also
went 3 for 9. He went 3 for 9. He almost hit a home run. He had a double.
Michael Brantley.
But he doesn't have a shoulder injury. I'm just saying, dude, come on, man. Y'all are killing us, guys.
And then he also said, we've been without him for a long time. So another day or two even to give him and us confidence that he's 100%. So in other words, Brett Chancey, you can wait.
That's right. Someone says Dusty pulled a Joe Buck on that one. Yeah, I'm surprised Dusty didn't say, you know who's 21 years old? I'm sorry, man. Look, Dusty has skin in the game that I would never have. I mean, he has a tenure in the game that not many people have. He's played with the best players. He's taken 5 teams to the playoffs. He's won a World Series with the Astros. There are just sometimes you would like your manager to be more forthcoming, and I just think they don't think about their messaging, Eric. And I think sometimes their messaging is what gets people, the critics, to jump all over him. I'm not jumping on Dusty for this, but it just doesn't make sense. Don't say that. I don't care if Sugarland's off. He's not even with the team. So, anyways, okay, I'll stop. I just that just really bothered me. I was like, I got to say something on the show tonight.
All right, so Jose Urquidy is pitching tomorrow for Double-A Corpus Christi, which is playing in San Antonio. So we do know that for sure. And so this will be his third rehab start. And so all we know is that Alvarez is really close. We know that Altuve possibly could be activated without a rehab stint, and we know that Urquidy is going to be starting tomorrow. That is your injury update with the Locked On Astros podcast.
Yes, sir. Or maybe we should call that soapbox injury update. Soapbox injury update.
Oh, breaking news. Alvarez did some light running in the outfield and was watching early hitting.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I was there after his first rehab start. He said he had no hesitation. He said he felt no pain. He actually wanted to join the team on the road. He said he was playing in the field the next day. You know what happened? He didn't play in the field the next day. He got a rest day. And then he thought once the Rangers came to town, he would play when the Rangers came to town. What did they give him? A rest day. So I just think sometimes these players, look, maybe the medical staff, obviously the medical staff has more information than I do. I hope they do. Anyways, they need to work on oblique strains. But he was so sure, guys. Like, he didn't hesitate. He didn't even bat an eye. And you know what I don't hesitate about? I don't hesitate where it is I go to watch the Astros dominate the Texas Rangers. I go to Hooters. When I want to hang out with my friends, I want to have some beers, I want to have some wings, I want to get served by the world famous Hooters girls, I go to Hooters. You can go to Hooters if you're in Pearland, Galveston, Stafford, Humble, Katy, Pearland, anywhere in the Houston area, Seabrook. I mean, just check them out because Monday through Friday, they got deals that you can't beat anywhere else. Buy one, get one wings on Monday. Tuesday, $9.99 burgers and fries. Wednesday, buy one, get one boneless wings. Thursday, $19.99 wings and Big Daddy bundle. Fridays, $19.83 crab legs. And anytime you can enjoy $3 Blue Moon drafts or $9.99 Michelob Ultra pitchers. No matter the occasion, Hooters is ready to make you happy. And make sure that you go help them out in Pearland. They still got the toy drive is going through the 31st of this month, halfway to Christmas. They're collecting toys for tots. And they are also doing a bus trip in NASA on August 24th. There are still tickets available, so go check it out. Ask Rosie about that. And on August 5th, they have an Ain't No Thing But a Chicken Wing tailgate. Get your cook team registered today. When you want to go hang out with friends, when you want to have great grub and be served by the world famous Hooters girls, go to Hooters and tell them Locked On Astros sent you. Why? Because Hooters makes you happy. The Astros do play the Texas Rangers Tuesday night, 7:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Astros.
All righty. So I know I've been playing 18 holes of golf today. I'm a little bit tired, but there's been a little buzz today about a trade with the Mets possibly going out. And
there has been a little.
I don't know anything, but how would you feel if Justin Verlander were to come back to Houston?
Initially, I'm like, bring JV back, right? Like, we need help, okay? But, and there's a long but, all caps, maybe in italics, bold. What is it going to cost, player-wise, and how much of that salary are the Mets going to eat? Because I am not paying him $43 million to come back. Right. I wasn't going to pay him $43 to stay. I may pay him 24 or 25, but the Mets got to eat like 20 of it. I mean, I'm sorry. Like Steve Cohen, we know you make 2 times more than the next richest owner. So you can handle that bag, son. So if we get JV, you better not take – if you take Chas McCormick for Justin Verlander, I'm going to be pissed off. Don't be pulling that crap. Like,
well, are you mad at him or are you mad at the Astros for trading?
I'm mad at the Astros. I'm mad at the Astros because we just spent a whole segment pumping him up. But if JV comes back, I need JV to be like top JV. I need JV to be the best postseason JV he's ever been.
Okay.
I know what regular season JV can do. And JV, Justin Verlander is one of the best pitchers of our generation, hands down. First ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. But that's the question that everybody asks when this is mentioned. What's he going to do in the playoffs? What's he going to do in the playoffs? And towards the end, he kind of helped out. But there was that game one where had we been playing a better team, that might have really set things in the wrong direction. So that's right here. Peyton says postseason JV question mark. So if the money makes sense, Eric, that's the first thing. Are the Mets going to eat part of that salary? And who are we going to have to give to them as a result? I say go for a lower target, Lucas Giolito, Webb out in San Francisco, someone like that. I just say stay away from JV. But what do you think?
Well, I think, and this is something that Brandon and I have been talking about on Streaking Orange a lot, is the fact that the Astros are one of the teams that actually have the wiggle room to take on some of that salary. And so if you go ahead and take on some of that salary of Justin Verlander, you can go ahead and you still have to give up something, but you won't have to give up a top prospect or a big haul, because I don't know what Steve Cohen's trying to do. I don't know if he's trying to get underneath the Steve Cohen luxury tax threshold or not. But I know I read something in Athletic that said that rivals are saying that the Mets are going to have to eat the whole salary. Then why trade them? If they want to get some good quality return, but then why trade them? Why not hold on to both Max Scherzer and Verlander for next year, hoping that they're good? So I think that they're trying to get underneath a certain. If they're not going to win this year, why are they paying for all this? So I think that if
someone said, what if they would take Montero?
No, I do not think that they will take Montero, and Montero is going to be a Houston Astro for a couple more years, fellas. So I think we maybe they can do something in the third year, but I think he's here to stay. But Justin Verlander, this is an interesting case. He's 4-5 with a 3.47 ERA. He has 70 strikeouts and 83 innings. I know he's not the same guy that had 300 strikeouts and 223 innings pitched, but maybe if he came back to Houston, he can find the fountain of youth again. So we haven't heard any official rumors or anything.
Right. There is
talk. So.
There is speculation, but I will say this on the Ohtani talk, on the Ohtani front. I think a month ago, I was one of the few people that said, the Orioles are a team that is primed to pick up Ohtani because they've got the capital of players to hand over. And, the Orioles are building something enough. And I don't know that they would sign Ohtani to a massive deal, but giving up the prospects that they would have to give up for that, I think they could survive, and that would make them a scary team. Astros fans, this is what you want with Ohtani. You want Ohtani to stay an Angel. You don't want him traded, because if he's traded, he's going to a contender. If he goes to a contender, that means you're probably going to have to play against him in the playoffs. I don't want that.
Yeah. So I don't know how much I want to read into that. I still think that a deal with the White Sox is very likely to happen. I think that just makes a lot of sense for the Astros. But I think that I think that Verlander wants to come home, and I think that the Astros wouldn't mind bringing him home.
Well, Crane, someone had mentioned here, Crane, Wendy Crane, Jim Crane, they all love the Verlanders. I mean, I remember a couple years ago when I ran into Jim, he was like, all they talked about was Ben Verlander. Oh, and Justin. And then when I met Ben Verlander and Mr. and Miss Verlander, the Verlander parents, they talked about how much they love the Crane. So there's a close relationship there.
Right.
But Eric, why don't we just go get Giolito? Why don't we get Giolito and Graveman from the White Sox? I'm okay with that.
I'm okay at golf. I'm not great at golf. I just do it for fun. I'm just out here visiting some friends, and so I'm good.
Oh no, Eric
is
really good at top golf. But who had the higher score last time we played?
Oh, shut
We
up.
won't talk about that on the next show. We'll talk about how Brett owned Eric at top golf. No, but seriously, I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Give me Graveman, give me Giolito, call it a day.
Yeah, so I think the Astros are still trying to decide which route they're going to go. There will be some trades. The Astros, as they are right now, are not a World Series contender. I think that they just need to go out there and make another deal and get something. And I think they are one, maybe two players away. They definitely need to make they don't have a rotation right now that would scare any body in the postseason. So they need to upgrade the rotation. Bullpen, I know you talked about it a little bit, but the bullpen looks a little bit scary at times. Stanek and Maton is just.
I just think they're gassed.
Yeah.
I think they're gassed, and it's been a tough year. But wait, they did this tonight, Eric, without Yordan.
Right.
They did this without Yordan. Gosh, big fella, we need you back Tuesday. Please, Dusty, let the kids play. Let the kids play.
So, I don't think Alvarez is a kid anymore.
He is a big kid, dude. You know what I'm saying? This dude is a big teddy bear, bro. I'm telling you, man. One of the nicest guys I've ever met in my entire life. Major league players, super nice, and looks you in the eye when you're talking to him. Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah.
Oh, if you want a treat, I'm serious. Go find, and I don't know his wife. His wife has an account on Instagram. I follow his wife and him on Instagram. She made this amazing video of Yordan Alvarez over like Father's Day weekend. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this dude is father of the year. Like it was phenomenal footage of him and his kids. It was one of the sweetest things I've ever seen. So go check that out.
All right. So tomorrow's game, it's going to be JP France with a 5-3 record and a 3.13 ERA. I don't know who's going to be starting for the Rangers, but JP France has been dealing recently, and I think that anytime JP France is on the mound, I have a lot of confidence. And Matthew says, will Urquidy have any type of impact with the Astros? I think what his impact will likely be eating up some innings, and hopefully he can kind of redevelop into that guy that the Astros counted on in the postseason 2 or 3 years ago, because that's what the Astros really need. So somebody's got to step up. Right. The real Slim Shady has got to step up for this pitching staff this year, because JV is not here. Garrett Cole is not here. You've got to have somebody else step up. And Framber Valdez can't do it all. Christian Javier is not the same guy. He's walking way too many guys. And so there's you have a whole bunch of question marks. And the Astros, if they don't address it at the trade deadline, you need somebody like Urquidy to stand up and say, hi, I'm the real Slim Shady.
Hey, man, he's great. You know, Eric, this has been a great show, man. Thanks for jumping on, man. Totally jealous of the weather you're experiencing in the golf course and all the fun out there.
It's 96. So, it's not that much. Not that much cooler.
Eric, you're in the mountains golfing. Yes, it's better. Trust me. It was 106 today, bro. All right. So, hey, that's all we got tonight for this edition of Locked on Astros. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. He is Eric the Man Huysman, coming to you from anywhere in the world. Where in the world is Eric Huysman? Well, thanks for tuning in, bud. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody coming in. Thank you for giving us a like, every one of y'all. 300 plus tonight. What a crowd. And what a win. The Astros are one step closer to taking back what's ours, the ALS title, because we have one thing on our mind, the World Series. The Astros play the Rangers Tuesday night, 7:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Astros.
And go Astros. Let's go ahead and get to one game tomorrow, and let's kick some Ranger butt. Yeah.
That's right. You better play Yordan, Dusty.